Hello, YouTube family and friends, and community and subscribers, and everybody here on JJ's PC Builds. I was creating this video this morning and I finished it up. It seems after I got done with the video, about maybe a half hour later, I ran some issues. Basically, I could barely breathe, and I was having major breathing issues. So I was unable to post the video today around 2 p.m. like I wanted to. So I'm just letting you know the video is going to go out tonight. And I hope y'all understand, and I do apologize for not having it on time for you. But I was in the hospital. I just got back maybe 10 minutes ago. So I figure I just let you know everything is okay. But I am back, so things got corrected by the hospital, and I'm glad they did, because the hospital told me if I would have waited 15 minutes longer, I wouldn't be here right now. So they told me there was a blockage complication. They went in and they took care of it really quick, and they got me back on track somewhat. So they told me for now to take it easy, don't get stressed out and everything else, and just enjoy my days. So I am back. I'm letting you know what's happening, but I will be making my videos. So I do have this one made. So let's go ahead and get right to it, and do enjoy the show. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to JJ's PC Builds. This is JJ with you once again. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. And also, too, if you've already subscribed, welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds. And my veteran subscribers, as always, much love to you. But now we're going to do a rollback. Get this. A rollback Hump Day Wednesday. Okay. What this means is this. Okay, I'm going to take this right here that I don't mind the microphone. This is the RTX 4070. Okay, this is the dual, and it's by Asus. Okay, now I picked this up a little bit over a month ago. I'm going to retest it with you today. It's 12 gigabytes. It's OC. See, it says OC right here. The OC edition. Okay, it does DLSS 3, ray tracing, reflex, studio, and much more. With them coming out with more stuff to do, to add to the 40 series, the software is getting even better and better. Just to let y'all know that. So don't think that the software is not getting better. The software is getting better. It's coming in time. It's like Intel doing the same thing with their software. In time, it's getting better for their hardware. So, it looks like that Nvidia is coming out with, something new every time. So it looks like that they did come out with something new. On the last video, watch the last video. I did it with the DLSS 3.5. I did that. Just check out the video. It'll explain a lot more. But today we're going to be explaining this right here, this dual fan RTX 4070. So let me go ahead and put the box on the side for you. It's just the box. Don't get mad at me. I still get it in my system. It has not moved, And I'll prove that when I go through and do my testing. Now, I do have my original numbers from when I first got it and I first tested it. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be matching. Either it matches or it gotten better, but Nothing in the BIOS has changed. Nothing on the GPU has changed. Everything is still set the same way, other than the overclocking to the GPU. I haven't done that yet. And if I remember right, I overclocked it on the first test. So I'm just letting you know what the performance is going to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and open up MSI Afterburner, right? And we will pull it right to the Action screen. So let's go ahead and do that and take you right over there to the Action screen and see what's going on. All right, now we're at the Action screen. Now you can see that it's right here. It says the clock memory, it's at 0. The clock core is at 0. And the voltage core is at 0. So that means it's just stock right there. It's just dead stock. The power limit's set at 100%. That's just stock. If it goes over 100% limit, then it's only going to go 8% over. So you're only going to get an 8% uplift when it comes to the power. Okay. So, but if you go to overvolt the core, one thing I am going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you now, do yourself a big favor and do not go over +5. I'm just telling you that because my past experience with it, don't go over +5. If you do, then you might risk the core, but I leave mine at 0 because at 0, I think it does just as good. And some people would think that I'm leaving performance on the table. Actually, I'm not. Actually, it balances out pretty good from the way I think about it. So as you can see, when it comes to, if you use MSI Afterburner, right, it's really good to use this, I think, with this, because you can go over here to the mem, click on the 0, and it starts flashing. So I do mine at 800, and then I hit enter. So that now turned that up to 800, but it has not applied that yet. So just keep that in mind. It has not applied that yet. I go over here and I hit 200 for the clock core. You got your mem core and you got your clock core. Two different things. So I pulled my mem core up to 50% more because the maximum you can go to is 1425. Okay. Before it crashes. So some got different kind of silicon. Some can go up to 16. Some can go up to 15. Between 14 and 16, I would suggest keep it at 8 to 14. Perfect spot. Nice and tender spot right there. Or you could do 7 and 14. You can do halfway and then you can do it all the way. But I wouldn't recommend going over 1400. Me, the clock core, I would not recommend go over 220. Do not go over 220. It will crash it. So 200's nice, right there, nice sweet spot. Leave it right there. Now your clock voltage core, leave it at 0. Your fan, leave it on auto. It's got its own little curve. But if you want to manually set the curve on this, you can manually set the curve in the settings for the for MSI Afterburner and set your own curve. It works. It's perfect for that. I have no problem with that. And the power limit, I leave at 100. If I want to take it, up 8% more, I can. But for now, I'd rather just leave the power levels just right where they're at. I don't feel the need of using any more power than it really needs. So, right now, it's at 82 degrees Fahrenheit. That's very low, it's very low, especially with the humidity that's going on out here. It's really high in humidity. but the voltage on it is 964 millivolts. And once I hit apply, you can see that it's 10,501 megahertz on the memory. And for the core, the GPU core, it's set at 2520 megahertz. Now, when I hit apply, the memory core changes, but the clock core does not change. That's only when you enable when you go onto a game and you enable it, then it goes up. So now once we got this all set, and you notice the voltage came up a little bit, could have went down, could have went up, I pretty much just leave it at stabilize. It stabilizes itself to 1.1 volts at maximum push. That's what I always come up with. So minimize this. Now we're off to the races. Now that y'all seen that, okay. Now that y'all seen that, the next step is to open up Steam Deck, and I'm going to start from Steam Deck, and I'm going to work my way forward. So I'll open up my file folders, and I'll look through my file folders. Oh, y'all are going to watch this. If this is an hour to hour and a half, y'all are watching this. So I'm going to take it from A to Z like I always do, and I'm not holding back on any of the numbers. Okay, you'll see what happened 30 days ago to today. So, and then, I'll go 6 months later and we can test it again. So that way you guys can see how well the RTX 4070 is doing. Okay, for the price point, it's a good intermediate card. And make sure you got your drink and snacks, by the way. To me, I still think it's a good intermediate card. Even though that the 6800 comes up 1% higher than the RTX 4070. But RTX 4070, if you enable DLSS 3 and stuff like that, you actually can boost up a little bit higher than, the 6800. Because the 6800 is only going to be running off of FSR2. Doesn't run off of DLSS 3, or it doesn't run off frame. It's got its own frame gen, but not like the 40 series. Okay. And it might be 12 gigabytes of VRAM. That to me right now in this point in time at 2023, it really doesn't matter. Because I'm only utilizing on the games I play between 6 and 8 gigabytes of VRAM. That's it. And I got 12, so do the math. I mean, if you got an extra 4 gigabytes of VRAM to play around with, you do. So if you set your games correctly and it eats up 8 gigabytes of VRAM and it plays smoothly and the games look great on 1440p, 1080p, 4K, you're set. Okay. But guarantee the FPS is not going to be the same when you go from 1080p to 1440p to 4K. FPS will drop as you go up to 4K. Just to give you that heads up. Now, let's go ahead and y'all are going to see the screen go black for a second. We're booting up Steam Deck. Now, do remind you about these tests. Okay, I'm going to say this very carefully to everybody. With having OBS Studios open, okay, OBS Studios open, that's that's 3 to 5% performance hit that you take. Okay, now opening up Steam Deck with its programming, you're going to take another performance hit. You're going to take at least another 5% performance hit. So average, you'll do between 8-10% performance hit when you go to test, if you keep these open, there's not much you can do when you use one computer for recording. But if you had a test bench and you had a capture card, then that would change. Everything would change there because OBS Studios would be running on a different computer than what your test bench is. And then the performance hit would be less than more. So, but since I'm using my main computer right now as my test bench, it is what it is. So, moving on forward down the road. Let's see. Let's open. Oh boy. Okay, so it's going to take us about a minute or two because I got to update 3D Mark. Obviously, haven't played on Steam in a bit, so I got to update some of the programs. Which that don't take long, believe it or not, because we're rolling at, and let's see what we're rolling at. Wow, it already updated it. So now that before you open up 3D Mark, and this is something I noticed about some of the games, that if you don't have your graphics card set and ready and your programs on your computer set and ready for opening these up, they kind of push your levels back down to a different level, like a lower level. So when I go to open up 3D Mark, it will record how your system's set up the first initialization. So if I were y'all, I would set up have your graphics card set and ready and everything else before you open up 3D Mark. So, because it scans the system info and then it loads everything to the factors of the way you have your card set. Some people say it really doesn't matter, but to me, back in the day it did, because if you didn't have it set right before you load the game or whatever, what happens is it reverts you back down to the first level. So, okay. Now we're going to move things around. We got to move things around a little bit. Okay, so the way this works is this. So I have to take and go to the action screen, right? And I got to take and turn around and switch this screen, the display capture, and I have to switch it to my other screen, to my primary monitor. And that's what you see here. Now I have to bring this back down. And I have to bring this one back up. Yeah, no, it's confusing. It is confusing, my bad. So, okay. So now you can see everything from A to Z right here. See, it says DirectX 12. This is Time Spy we're going to run first. Now, I know everybody kind of turns their processor up to a maximum amount, but I didn't. I got mine set on auto. Is because we're not really testing the processor. Okay, this says the processor goes to 4648 megahertz, right? This DDR4 says 65, 536, 64 gigs of RAM. And the hard drive is one terabyte, 930 gigabits. But this says we're using the Nvidia right here. The Nvidia RTX 4070 12 gigabyte set at 2120 megahertz, 1920 megahertz. Okay, now what I can't understand is that I have it turned up a lot higher than this, but this is what this is recording this at. So y'all let me know in the comments if I got this wrong or right, but pretty much this is what they're saying. So let's go ahead and run Time Spy. And see what's cooking. Alrighty. Trying to get it to load, so be patient. Be patient. See what happens. And yes, y'all are hearing the audio from my TV, monitor TV, whatever. Now it's over 3 gigahertz. The GPU is. The CPU is processed at 4650 megahertz. As far as it going up in percentages, to you it might look like it's bottlenecking, but I can guarantee right now it's not. Okay. I thought so too myself until I looked at hardware info, and I'm looking at to see if there's any kind of bottlenecking going on. Really, there's not. I mean, the GPU is actually running at a certain percentage because of the testing parameters are done on that first set. So I thought it was something I was doing wrong, and it's not. I got everything set perfectly. As you can see in this set, it's pushing up to 100%. And the CPU's at 23%. That's not bad. Even though because I undervolted the CPU, and it's been undervolted for the whole month. So as you can see, it's still running at its max speed, its max megahertz. So, I mean, as far as the wattage, you'll notice that it's not pulling many watts. That's the key thing, is to get down the temperature, but to bring up, your FPS scores. So I'm hoping by the way I set it, it's going to bring up the FPS scores, but lower the amount of voltage being used, which it does. To me, it does. It lowers the voltage and it lowers the heat and keeps up the FPS scores without it, going into a bottleneck mode. So, because right now it's running at 100% and the megahertz are kind of like all over the place, but the voltage is hitting its 100% mark and it's hitting, almost to 1.1 volt on the core. So the memory seems to be doing just fine. The CPU's at 126 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius, Fahrenheit. This is on Fahrenheit. Okay. It's going 20, 30%, full out max megahertz, 4650. But the thing is they said the 5700X, this 5700X is only 65 watts. So if you push it and overclock it, it'll go up to about maybe 73, 74. But that's not too bad. So that's what you got to look forward to. I mean, I'm running the Ryzen 7 5700X and I'm running the RTX 4070. I mean, they're both, I'm running off an Asus motherboard right here. The ROG Strix B550-A gaming motherboard. Okay. Windows 11 ready. And let's look at the score. We got 16,533. Now, this is what I'm looking for. The graphics score. 18,019. CPU score is not that bad. I mean, I'm not pushing it to 100%. I could say I'm pushing it at about maybe 65, 70%. Just say about 70% because it's undervolted and everything else. I could say about 70%. So now that we did that, I'm going to take and open up my files. I'm going to open up what I got going on. Y'all can see it. I ain't hiding nothing. So benchmark shots, 5700X. We got 3D Mark. We got Time Spy. So that's at 713. And this is 823. So it's well over a month. You see the date right there? I dated that 7/13/2023 is when I took the first initial test. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and pull up the test. We're going to minimize it here. Now, there we go. I've done absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Still the same way. What do you think's changed? Ask yourself this. What do you think is really changed between the original when I started here? Y'all can see the screen. I'll do it with the mouse, sorry. The original that you got right here. You see my mouse right there with the 15,912? What do you think changed between this and this? and made this even better. I want you all to really think about that. What do you think changed? Look at the scores. Look at how close that is. What do you think improved my scores? Only thing I can think of is that could improve my scores is this. It could have been the software driver update for the graphics card. Could be that. I know it's not a BIOS update. That's not going to do it. BIOS update just means it's updating the parameters and stuff. It has nothing to do with your boost. Okay. To me, that's what I think. But some people say, yes, it does. To me, I don't see it, so I cannot prove it. So I'm not going to tell you if it is or it isn't. Okay, understand that. I can't tell you if it is or isn't because I can't prove it. So that's bottom line right there. That's the bottom line because I said so. But anyway, I had to do that. So looks like the CPU score went up. Looks like I got at least a couple hundred points on the graphics score. Looks like I got maybe over 1,000 or so on the CPU score. That's even better yet. That tells me there's improvement. There's room for improvement. So that means this motherboard that I got, there is much room for improvement. So looking at this, and it's both the same. They're both the same. All right. Y'all get the idea. You see that there's much more improvement from a month ago to now as time goes on. And I'm going to point this out to you. As time goes on, okay, you can improve and make your computer better, faster, and more efficient. Okay, it's not like because this is last year's generation series has nothing to do about it. I know this DDR4 has been, and AM4 has been long running, but it's well proven, it's well seasoned, much more than AM5 and DDR5. Everybody wants to push forward to that new best thing, but you know what they're losing? They're losing performance. Reason why they lose performance is because when you move up to the next best thing, what do you think gives you performance? Think about it. Think about it hard. What gives you performance? Your updates, your driver updates, your software updates, and all those updates? Yeah, it kind of puts it right at the point to where, you think you get no more driver updates and software updates and everything for AM4. That's the reason why everybody skips to the AM5, because they want more driver updates and everything else and so on. Okay. Not necessarily. They still do updates for some AM4. So it's not like AM4 just dropped off the face of the earth. People are still using AM4 because they enjoy it. Me, I use it because I enjoy it. It gives me everything I need when I play my games. Just like you. It could do you the same way. But if you want to spend that extra money and go up to the AM5 series, I don't blame you. I wouldn't blame you at all. But I still think there's a lot of hiccups and everything else still in the works, still needs to be fixed. So that's the reason why I'm still on the AM4 platform. Even though that AMD put out the new 5600 X3D. Well, let me see. Let me kind of dig over here a little bit. I just want y'all to think about this. Let me put this down here so that way the box don't fall on each other. There. Right here. Right here. Right here. See? Right here. And I got one, the 5600 X3D. And I went to Micro Center and got it. If you got a friend out there that can get to Micro Center and get you one, then ask your friend to go get you one. That 5600 X3D is a ball buster. Believe it or not. It might be a cut down processor, but I'll tell you what, it's still got all the extra performance that it's from its original version to its cut down version. It's still all there. It's just not unlocked. So mostly 95%, 98% is unlocked. Okay, don't get me wrong. 95 to 98% is unlocked. There's just 1 to 2% that they didn't unlock is because there was problems with the chip. So they turned around, they fixed and bypassed the problems and put you with all great cores. How many cores do you think's in here? How many cores do you think this processor is? How many cores? This is 6-core, 12-thread. This tells me that the base clock is 3.3 and the max clock is 4.4, they say. Okay, but it's a little bit of a misprint because it's 4.350. Just to let you know that. It's not 4.4. It's 4.350. The reason is because it's the cut down. And, you're missing that little bit of extra. Remember, this could have started off as an 8-core, 16-thread. Okay, do keep that in mind. It could have started off as an 8-core, 16-thread. And to give you 4.6, 4.7, or 4.5, but once you cut a couple extra cores off and stuff like that, and you start moving things around. But all in all, I'm going to tell you, the processor is a ball buster. It does really great on some games. It just blows through them like nothing. And with the 4070 RTX 4070, it's you can't ask for more. Really, you can't. So, I mean, to me, you can't really ask for more. I mean, what else can you ask for? So now that we went through all that, and let's go ahead and go to Night Raid. Let's try some Night Raid and run it. Yes, I don't have the paid version. Do not knock me because I don't have the paid version. There are free versions out there. Let's say, you got your consumer out there that says, okay, I want to do my testing, but I don't want to pay for it right now. I can't afford it. There are free versions. Just have a peek. They do have the free version of this. So, when you go to Steam, you look up 3D Mark and they have the free version. They have Time Spy. They have Night Raid, and they have Firestrike. 3 that are free for you to test with. That's what I do. So let's go ahead and run the benchmark on Night Raid and see what we got on test number 2. And yes, I know I'm probably over 30 minutes now, so don't knock me. There we go. There we go. Yes, I almost forgot to switch the screen too, but don't knock me. Look at that. It's giving me the correct numbers I want to see. Look at that. Just watch where it says D3, D12. That's DX12. Look how it's hitting up around 6, 7, 800 FPS. Do remember the load I have on the system when I first start this. So not bad, not teabag at all. Not teabag at all. See, you can use anything you want. Now understand that. You can use, when it comes to me, you can use a B450 motherboard. You can use a B550 motherboard. You know, if you want to go to the next gen, you can go to 600 series. I mean, or the 700 series. You know, but to me, if you want to save money, get a B550 motherboard. It's just as good. You can always strap with whatever you want, whatever processor you want on this. Now, with the VRMs and stuff, understand this, the VRMs and stuff on the motherboard I have are strong enough to hold the best of AM4 chips, the processors. So, understand that. I've already checked it all out, and I've already did my homework, and I know I can put the best of the best of the best on here. See, this is showing me that it's hitting up over 1,000 FPS. You know, with all this going on, it's going over $1,000. Look at this. It's hitting over $1,000. I mean, you all think I'm cheating this? I ain't cheating nothing. That's the real deal. Right there. That's the real deal. I'm not cheating nothing. And you can see all the action going on in the screen too. Do you think I'm cheating that? Look for yourself. Look on. That's the reason why I'm posting it like this. Is I'm showing you that, you know, in DirectX 12, you know, it's hitting up high numbers with all this action on the screen. And that's the amazing part. You know, it's just how game developers make the games. It's how they make the games. And they don't set them up too correctly. This test right here, this shows me what the processor is doing on its own. And do remember, the processor is undervolted. So it's not going to show 30 to 33 FPS on the normal because it's undervolted. So that's only going to show 12 to 15 FPS. So understand that my score could be a lot higher, but I don't want to kill my processor in the fact of using an air cooler and keeping it at low, decent power. So that's nuts. Now, hopefully when I go and I take a gander at, let's go and take a gander at Night Raid. That was done on the 13th. This one was done on the 14th. Let's pull up Night Raid. You think I'm faking the scores? Right there. Do I look like I'm faking the scores? Look at the difference in the scores. Okay. The reason why the CPU is down is because of the undervolting. Okay. But the graphics score is up compared to 30 days ago. So this is at 137,444. This is at 154,923. So I'm going to get the calculator out. And I know how much y'all love the calculator, and I'm going to bring it to you. Don't worry, don't feel like you're being neglected. We'll bring you the calculator. We know how much you love the calculator. So we do 154,923 minus 137,444. That's how much I improved on the graphics score. 17,479 since 30 days ago. What do you think improved on that? I know the CPU score didn't improve because I know it's probably because of the undervolting and all that. It's not hitting where it's supposed to be. So, but still, all in all, I see the difference between 54 and 63. You know, oh, wait a minute. I got that backwards. My bad. I was sitting there looking at 30 days ago compared to now. My bad. This is compared to now. 63,715 back then. At your total. We still got the GPU right because it seems that it improved over a period of time. So did the CPU for some reason. But I did not change a thing. That's what does not make sense to me. 54. Let's see. 54,578 minus the 63,715. Look at that. It improved by 9,137 points since 30 days ago. So, with me not changing anything and software updates, probably, that could be the only thing that I can think of that changed the whole aspect of that. But it did improve by 9,137 points. So, I am very happy with that. That I can accept. I can accept that. I mean, do you think I changed the CPU anything? No. Still the same CPU. Still the same GPU. Because I'll bring you over here. Okay. Pull this right up underneath. Here. Let's see. Nvidia GeForce 4070. Still hasn't changed. Ryzen 7 5700X hasn't changed. So, and looking at the temperatures and everything else, let's go and look at the temperatures. Do they got the temperatures on there? Yes, they do. Temperatures are right here. Look, this right here, it's like 52, 50, 53, 53C, 54C, drops down. Comes back up. See, it's about consistent with 53C. So 53C is not too bad and it's very consistent. Okay, as far as the frequency on the processor, it still stayed a consistent all the way through, except for right here, it dipped down a little bit, but the processor stayed consistent at 4648.92 megahertz. Okay, the percentages, GPU load, let's see, they dipped down a little bit, they dipped down to 62% here, 72% here, they dipped down to 67% here, 86. Next scene, you got to drop off in the next scene. So coming down 60%, 54 goes back up to 79%, drops off. Next scene, then comes over at 90%, pushes strong at 99. Drops back off to 68, 65, comes back strong at 98, and drops back off. So that's pretty good percentage for the GPU load. So the load has been staying pretty consistent. Now, the frame rate, FPS, frame rate, the high peak was at 777 FPS, dropping it down to 490.69 FPS, jumping over to the next low peak, 447.35 FPS, coming back up strong to almost about 760, close to it, and dropping off. Okay, coming back up, starting off on the last run, it started off at 1205 FPS to start off with, dropped it down to 956, came back up to 975, dropped down to 635, comes back up to 1060. Yep, 1060, kind of drops up and down a little bit, drops down to 919 and another dip, comes back up to 1045, drops down to, let's see, 934, comes back up to, finishes off strong at about 1071 FPS. Okay, that's not too bad. That is not too bad at all. So, overall, it's looking like it's doing what it needs to do. So, frequency, looks like it's keeping a continuous frequency. Pretty good. GPU max frequency, 3.15 gigahertz max frequency on this run. Yep. So there it is. There's that right there. So now you see what I see. Okay, when I go through all these reports and everything else, I take you all along with me on this, and I show you exactly what's going on. Okay, so this gives the detail score, the graphic score right here, 154,923. Is that consistent? Yes, it is. So first graphic test, Now, the test goes as 607.31 FPS. Second graphics test, 958.91. This is an average. This looks like to me almost a dedicated average. So, but it's got its CPU score in the milliseconds, but We're worried about the graphics. That's what we were worried about, was the graphics. Now, you can see that the GPU is right here, display 1, which it was using. Now, the Ryzen 7 5700, the GUI is right there. And there's the test date, which says it's 8/23/2023, which is today. So in the system info, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now the monitoring tools, you can see the frame rate, the CPUs, and so-called and so forth. Okay, that's what we just went through. So now you've seen it all. And we're going to go ahead and put my conclusion right here. We'll do these 2 tests. We'll put my conclusion. Maybe in another day we'll do Firestrike. But for right now, let's just leave this as this, so you guys get a good idea of what's going on. So, sorry about that. That's something I have to exit Steam. So, let it exit. Let me turn this around. Alrighty. Get everything set back up to where it needs to be so I can go right here and do this. Okay. My final thought. Looking at that and seeing that there is an improvement in the software, that's what I was looking to see. Nothing was changed as far as hardware. Nothing was changed in the BIOS. Nothing was changed as far as the setup for the RTX 4070, the control center, the Nvidia control center. Nothing's changed. It's still all the same settings. So I've only had one recent update from Nvidia for the driver software for the graphics card. That's all I had. Now, understand with those benchmarks, those are the kind of benchmarks you can't alter. And if you go to alter it during the test, it shuts the test off completely. So basically, it's something you cannot alter while it's running. You either set everything up the way you need it to be set up, or, you try to change the settings while it's running, it will actually stop the process, and it will. I've had that happen many times on many videos to where y'all seen it. And I tried to change something, or I took and clicked on something with my mouse, and it turned around, boom. It took you right off the program, and it cut it right there. So, a very temperamental program. That is. So, if you're looking to test with, that program, then, it would be good for you. Especially if you're trying to set up your computer to the way you want it. I mean, I am happy with the way it runs. It could be different, or it could be worse, or it could be, but HW Info 64 is a good program. That's another good program, if you're looking for that. Yeah. And don't forget about MSI Afterburner. You can use MSI Afterburner to do with what you want it to do with. That would be a good thing too. Or, you can do yourself a big favor, and, you can go to Steam. You can open up your Steam. you know, like I just did a few seconds ago. And you can take and, put it in your library. And 3D Mark is a really good one for testing. Okay, 3D Mark is a really good one for testing. That's what I use. I use Time Spy, I use Firestrike, and I use Night Raid. So those are the three I use to test the DirectX 11, DirectX 12. Okay, if I want to take and check my OpenGL, I'll go to the FurMark. I have FurMark I can open up and use that for my OpenGL. So that's testing about 90% of the card. So I really don't use Vulkan, so it really don't matter that much, and I don't use OpenCL. So, that's pretty much up in the air too. So, but if you're wondering, you have many data sets programmed into your graphics card. Now, for you to use the simple data sets, that's one thing, but you have to know what you're looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up GPU-Z, right? I'm going to open up GPU-Z for you. We're going to go back to the action screen. I know this is going to be over an hour, this video. So you can see right here what's going on. Okay. This tells you what's inside my system right here. The Nvidia RTX 4070. Okay. Tells you everything about it. Tells you what supports. It supports OpenCL, Vulkan, CUDA, ray tracing, direct compute, PhysicsX, OpenGL 4.6, DirectML, and everything you can think of. Right here, it tells you exactly what it can do. It has 192-bit bus, Nvidia. 192, not good. But I'm happy with it, okay? I can deal with it. I can see if this card had 16 gigabytes of VRAM, 192-bit would not work well with this card, okay? Would not work well. But it has 12 gigabytes of VRAM, and it works fine. As far as I can see, it has GDDR6X by Micron. Not a lot of people are really fond of Micron right now, but hasn't given up on me yet. So the texture fill rate is 500.5 gigatextiles. Okay, the pixel fill rate is 174.1 gigs of pickles. Not gigs of pickles, gigs of pixels. Okay. And it supports PCIe X16 4.0 at X16 4.0. And you're reading that right. It supports right here, the bus interface. And that's what it supports at. That is sick crazy. I'm happy with that. Sick crazy. Its ROPS is 64 ROPS. TMUs are 184. I'm happy with that. Shaders, 5,888. I'm happy with that. I mean, I can't beat it. I can't beat this card with the stick. Okay. I mean, you can't really. I mean, it'll support lots of monitors. It tells you what it supports and doesn't support. Tells you the power limits. Tells you a lot of things you need to know. So there it is. Back to the main screen. Okay. Final thought. I know I'm giving you my end of the video thought. Now I'm giving you my final thought. If you get a B550 motherboard, which I prefer, ones that have basically give you overclockable capabilities, especially for this kind of processor, that'll support the GPU like it supports this one. So I found that the Asus ROG Strix B550A gaming motherboard supports this processor and supports this graphics card very well. So that's not the only one that I feel that would support it very well. There's another one. We'll come to that later on down the road when we do that build. But for now, I'm still waiting on the finished parts for that build. So I know you are waiting on it as well. So be patient. I know some people out there saying, oh, I can't be that impatient. Yes, you can. Be that patient. So, but anyway, glad you made it to the end of the video, and I'm glad you stuck around to get my final thoughts on the RTX 4070 a month later. It's a month later now, so I'm glad you stuck around for it. True enough. The next time I test this system will be 6 months from now, so you can mark it on your calendar 6 months from now, which, I'm not going to mark it on my calendar because I'm going to already know 6 months from now. See, this is August. So we go, September? That's 1 month. We go October. That's 2 months. We go November, that's 3 months. We go December, that's 4 months. We go January, that's 5 months. February, right here, February the 23rd. That will mark the 6 months to do the testing for this. Okay, so keep that in mind. And that would be 2024. So, good mental note. Just to let you know. That's how it rolls. But anyway, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. And also, too, my veteran I did it again. My first time subscribers, welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds, and my veteran subscribers. As always, much love for all that you do. Watching the videos from beginning to end is much appreciated. It helps supports the channel. And just like everybody that's new, that's just subscribing, please watch all the videos from beginning to end. That helps support our channel. I'm not saying my channel. I'm not saying anybody else's channel. I'm saying our channel, because you subscribed, it's our channel now. So we work together. I see what you want, you see what I got, and then, we're all one happy family. We're all one big community, just to let you know. But I'm going to have to get out of here because it's early in the morning and I got something I got to go handle. But anyway, until the next time in the next video, this is JJ on JJ's PC Builds. We will see you on the next one.